Hi, Miha. So good to be together with you here.
Hi, Karen. Likewise.
I've been looking very much forward to having this dialogue about the fourth step. My mindset matters most. For me, this is the king of all steps. So I'm super excited to invite you in for a dialogue around it, as you and I have been traveling on a beautiful transformation journey together for 4 years. So welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy to have this conversation and also look into the book to see all the experience we have had together. I think it's such a joy to be able to recollect this in some years and share it with everyone.
Super. So let's jump into it. So, Miha, why did you choose to go on a personal transformation journey?
It's a big question. I would say that I was always very reflective and wanted to grow as a person and professionally. But it was the moment when we start our cultural transformation when I realized that I also have to work on my personal one, because I was given a big task of creating a momentum, a movement inside the company with employees at different levels of the organization. That would come together and then support and shape the culture. And at that point, being the face and the driver of that community, it meant that I have to come from a different level of understanding and awareness in order to be able to help them in that space. So yeah, that's where it started.
So you had, in a way, you stepped up into a leadership role, leading that community without ever had the chance to lead before. What were your learnings?
True. It was basically an informal leadership role that I initially didn't even imagine in that way. I just learned along the way what it means. What I learned so much was that initially I came very much with a performance mindset. I felt that I had to perform to be very, very good at what I was doing and don't have any mistake. And that meant that I was a lot of the time at the beginning stuck in front of a computer, but not necessarily putting myself out there and engaging with the community. And it was only at the moment when I realized that I have to have courage to step out from that space and be myself, be at my best by connecting with people and making sure that it's okay to do mistakes. Every mistake is a learning opportunity. At that point, I started really leading. Before, I was just writing probably emails and hoping for other things to happen.
Wow, interesting. So that brings us right into basically step 4, my mindset matters most. Can you elaborate on what that has meant to you, that step has meant to you personally and professionally?
I would say it definitely changed the way I perceive life now, because it made me more aware of my thinking process, of the mindsets that I bring in day-to-day life. At work, definitely worked from moving from a lot of judgment and critical thinking to more curiosity and learning and understanding. So I have had better conversations with my colleagues. And in my personal life, I would say that again, I gained more understanding of why people behave in certain ways and how can I respond to that behavior from a place of love and not fear or misunderstanding. So there were many changes.
And can you give maybe an example of what it means to sit and have a dialogue with a colleague where you first might have the glasses on of judgment and then shifting it to curiosity? What happens in that conversation? And maybe a concrete example.
Definitely. It opens the mind to deep listening, I would say. When I came from a judgment angle in a conversation, I already had some first impression about what's going to happen, and probably the reaction of the other person wouldn't have mattered as much.
Mm.
Whereas when I worked with myself before, trying to come of a place of curiosity, I listened more to what was said, and had this perspective that there is much more that I don't know, and that knowledge will help both of us in a better understanding. So people weren't in that mindset of being threatened, but they were there with seeing my care and understanding, and they were opening much more. And then we saw a real collaboration. Before, it was more like everyone trying to fight for its own agenda.
Very nice example. And I guess that actually that whole idea about I have to perform, I have to have the answers, is very tightly connected to a mindset of judgment versus one of curiosity. Is that true?
Yes. It's true, and I know where it comes from also. I feel that in my upbringing, in my education, in the traditional system, was very much you have to have the answers. There is one right answer. And then whenever you were interacting in a new situation, you came with that understanding. And moving to Denmark and having more open discussions, I learned a lot about shifting from that to there is a lot of learning. Nobody knows everything, and we give as much as possible, and that will have a very big impact.
Nice. So, Miha, by living step 4, my mindset matters most, how does that help you turn business challenges into opportunities?
I would say it changed my life experience and my work experience in a way, because I come now with a different question. Instead of asking what is wrong in this situation, I would ask what is perfect, what is the opportunity. And then my mind works in a different way. It starts finding solutions, and it brings more knowledge or more understanding in a situation. I remember a lot of projects where we had to design different HR processes. And initially, of course, you have a lot of constraints and you have a lot of fears. You want the things to work out. But when you move into what is it perfect, you spark a lot of passion in other people that come with other ideas. And you open the conversation in a very different way.
Yes, Miha, and I have to say, I have seen you use that question, and how is this perfect? And I have seen the magic it has on the community, because all of a sudden everyone is leaning in and just moving straight into, from constraints into the land of opportunities. So it's a very powerful question. Thank you. Thank you for sharing it with every one of us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, and great work with the book. So happy to read it.
Thanks.